Una dintre cele mai frecvente întrebări pe care și le pun părinții e de ce plâng copiii. Cei mici ne surprind deseori prin crizele lor de plâns, fie din cauză că nu înțelegem motivul, fie pentru că, fiind vorba de lumina ochilor noștri, ne simțim neputincioase în fața suferinței copilului. În minutele următoare vom afla ce părere are una dintre cele mai proeminente figuri ale psihologiei infantile a ultimilor ani despre plânsul copiilor. Cauze ce transmit copiii prin plâns, cum gestionăm plânsul copiilor. Aflăm răspunsurile chiar de la Aletha Solter.
You are one of the first developmental psychologists that advanced the idea that crying is in fact beneficial for our babies and children. How did you come to this idea?
Crying is very beneficial, and that's kind of a new idea for some people. Because there's a lot of books and a lot of advice that tells parents you should stop children from crying and stop them from having temper tantrums. I say the exact opposite. Crying is a natural healing mechanism. I came to this for various reasons. First of all, there is research on crying that not many people know about. There's actual research on it that in our tears, when we shed tears, they're actually high concentrations of stress hormones that accumulate in our body during stress. So one theory is that we actually are evacuating stress hormones, keeping our body, kind of clearing our body of these substances that are no longer needed, that would keep us in a state of tension and arousal if we didn't cry. Other studies have shown that after crying, our blood pressure is lower, not while we cry, afterwards when we reach that calm state. And so our pulse rate is lower, our body temperature is lower, our brain waves are more synchronized. We really reach a relaxed state. So there's actually data showing that crying is a stress release mechanism.
But for how long can we leave children crying?
I don't recommend leaving them alone. I recommend being with them when they cry. As long as they need to, they will stop when they are done. They will stop. And I also experienced, raised my own children this way, so I kind of experimented with my first child, which he's fine in spite of my experiments. He's fine. But I did see that even as a baby, after he had a good cry, in my arms, I always recommend holding babies when they're crying, he was always very relaxed afterwards. So I realized very early in my mothering career that this information was very important and I wanted to share it with other parents. So that's why I wrote my first book, The Aware Baby. In English, it's The Aware Baby. It's the book that I wished I had had as a new mother.
Many mothers who tend to meet their children's needs immediately, holding them, co-sleeping with them, breastfeeding them on demand, feel that this way the babies don't have anything to cry about.
Yes.
Is that true? Do babies cry for different reasons too?
Yes, they do. And that's the big misunderstanding. Babies do cry when they're hungry, when they need to be held. And it is important to meet their immediate needs, right? And that's what most parents try to do. But what parents don't understand is that there is a second reason for crying in babies and older children too. And this is the stress release crying. So I think all parents kind of know what I'm talking about when I say you've fed your baby, you've burped your baby, changed the diapers, holding your baby, and she is still crying. And there's no more immediate needs, but they accept the need to cry. And that's because babies do have stress in their lives. I think the misunderstanding comes from not recognizing the sources of stress for infants. So that's, and when babies cry, I don't recommend leaving them alone somewhere, in their room, in their crib. I recommend always holding a baby who is crying.
Let's go now to the supermarket. We are with the baby or with the child in the supermarket, and suddenly the child throws himself on the floor and starts crying and having a tantrum. You know, it's so embarrassing because people are watching. The child wouldn't stop. What can we do then?
Well, it's okay. It's okay. Okay, children sometimes do have temper tantrums in public places, and it's very embarrassing. But I just recommend just staying near the child and waiting for it to pass. But I also recommend to parents to try to make sure that their children have their tantrums before they leave the home. Just like that, you know, they make sure their children go to the toilet, go to the potty before they leave home. And then, you know, if they see the child is a bit fussy, whiny, clingy, they might want to wait until that tantrum has happened at home and then go out. It's sort of like going to the toilet, having a temper tantrum. Once it's done, probably for that day at least. Right?
It's true.
Yeah, so.
But we parents feel that tantrums are a very manipulative method of a child, or that the child uses in order to get what he wants. For instance, if we are in that supermarket and the child really wants a little car and we don't want to buy it, we don't feel it's necessary.
Right.
What would you say to us in that circumstances?
So that's a good example of a want versus a need. The child does not need that car, but the child wants the car. It is okay to say no. Even if the child screams and cries and throws herself on the floor, you know, having a full-blown temper tantrum.
Yes, I know. I know.
We don't have to change the limit we set. We still don't have to buy the car. It's okay for the child to feel that frustration. So what I tell parents who feel manipulated, no, the fact that they feel manipulated does not mean that the child's intent is to manipulate, okay? What happens with children when it may have nothing to do with the car at all, okay? When children have accumulated stress from the day, from the past week, maybe from school, maybe from whatever, you know, children get stressed just like we do. They will use any pretext to have a good cry or a tantrum. And I call this the broken cookie phenomenon, because, you know, you give your child a broken cookie and they scream and cry because it's broken.
Because it's broken, yeah.
But that's not the real issue. That's not what they're really crying about. You don't have to go go get another cookie, all right? So it's the same with setting limits, and actually setting firm limits, like saying no to things like the car, can actually help children then release some stress. They use that as a pretext. When we keep doing things, okay, I'll buy the car, keep you happy, the children never get a chance to release stress, and then they become more and more demanding, more and more difficult, maybe even aggressive, because they're never getting a chance to have a good cry. So this approach is not permissiveness. It's not a permissive approach. It's not authoritarian, but it's not permissive either. It's what I call a democratic approach to discipline.
Well, this discussion was really enlightening for me, and I think for other parents from home. Thank you very much.